Hello, my name is Susan Vance. I'm with SNAP, Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests. If you'd like to know more about our global mission, please go to snapnetwork.org. I'm here today to talk to you about Jane Doe. She's filed a case against the Diocese of Knoxville and Father Anthony Punacal. This is very significant. Let's look at the timeline. First of all, let me say that Jane Doe is a Honduran woman with 3 children seeking asylum in the U.S. against the violence in Honduras. Her husband in Honduras was killed in that same violence which she sought to escape. But when she went to Father Punacal for help, he molested her during grief counseling. She reported it to the police. She's a brave woman. Bishop Stika knows about this. He knows about the fact that it breaks all policy in the Diocese of Knoxville. And not only is it criminal, but the diocese bears the responsibility of the people. Punacal was indicted, arrested, and bonded on 1 count of sexual battery and 1 count of sexual battery by an authority figure in January of 2022, just a few months ago. Here is Father Punacal with Bishop Richard Stika and Justin Regali, Cardinal Justin Regali. This is a betrayal. The diocese has betrayed not only Jane Doe, an immigrant, but also all the rest of the church, including all the immigrant population. And you will be horrified at what they have done. First, the failure to follow policy is just overwhelming, and they know it. This happened at St. Mary's Church in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, a beautiful church in the Smoky Mountains. I know it well. This is the first sign, on a sign, literally, of what is really, really wrong. In front of the church, it has a beautiful sign which says that Father Punacal, Father Anthony Punacal, is pastor. How can this be? This is a trick of the diocese in order to make the people believe that Father Punacal is innocent and the victim is the guilty one. This is a very typical thing they will do. They will ignore the problem and they will remain silent and therefore give the idea, oh, the priest must be innocent. It must be her fault. How many times have we heard that before? Father Anthony Punacal is from India. He belongs to the Carmelites of Mary Immaculate and is assigned through the diocese to St. Mary's Parish. This is in the bulletin currently, pastor. This is on the website currently. He is listed as the pastor. He's removed from ministry. He was arrested, indicted, arrested, and bonded. He's not around anymore, but he was around for 2 years to torment Jane Doe. Let's talk about the difference between what happened in 2010 and what happens in 2022, just 12 short years later. In 2010, Warren Tucker went to the diocese and he reported that Father William Casey had molested him as a young boy. And Warren Tucker persevered to get Casey in jail. And that's where William Casey is to this day. Now let's look at what Bishop Stika said on April 15, 2010 about the whole William Casey, Warren Tucker situation.
Following Deacon Smith's meeting with Mr. Tucker, we immediately adhered to the process outlined in our policy relating to sexual misconduct. This policy is available on our website.
It was available then on the website and is so today. And let's look at this. Look what he did with Warren Tucker in 2010. We immediately adhered to our policy, the process outlined in our policy. With Jane Doe, silence and no action, none whatsoever. Let's ignore it and it will go away. If Jane Doe had not filed a lawsuit, this is what would happen. This is why lawyers and their clients who try to get justice from the church are heroes and should not be denigrated by the rest of us, and they should be praised. Again, Richard Stika, more of his lies.
Our first concern is for Mr. Tucker, for his family, and for anyone else who may have been harmed by Father Casey. We want to help Mr. Tucker and his family in his healing process in any way that we can.
Not so with Jane Doe. Let's look at what he's done. So, Bishop Stika, you wanted to help Warren Tucker and the family and anyone who's been harmed and help them in the healing process. Jane Doe, you are silent. You take no action. You do not explain to the parish what is going on, nor to the diocese. So this is, you have no concern for Jane Doe, her family, or anybody else for that matter. The predator priest remained at St. Mary's for 2 years, from February 2020 until early January 2022. Now let's listen to what Bishop Stika has to say again. More lies.
As Bishop of the Catholic Church of East Tennessee, I want to apologize to Mr. Tucker, to his family, to anyone else who may have been harmed by Father Casey. I am sending a letter to all of the parishes of the Diocese of Knoxville this weekend to inform all the parishioners of these allegations. I will ask that the letters be read at all the masses this weekend, and inviting any others who may have been harmed to please come forward.
There is nothing done for Jane Doe. All of that for Warren Tucker, as it should have been. Nothing for Jane Doe. No apologies to her, to her family. No asking for anyone to come forward. He also asked that, he sent out a letter, he said, and he did in 2010. No letters, no apologies, no warning to the parish, no warning to the diocese, no telling the truth, no reading anything at Mass, nothing. Nothing for Jane Doe. And we had an expectation, and this is very important to remember. People sitting in the pews, heard about this for years. This wasn't just a one-time thing. We heard about for years what a quick action he took, how much he followed the policy, how this diocese had zero tolerance. They have zero tolerance, but not for victims. They have zero tolerance for pedophiles and for those who harm children, teens, and vulnerable adults. And make no mistake about it, Jane Doe was a vulnerable adult, and Punakal took advantage of her. Listen to what Stika says here.
As the bishop of this diocese, I want to assure everyone we're as transparent as possible. We want people to know that this happened. We're going to deal with it, and we're going to reach out to Mr. Tucker, and if there's any other victims out there, and do whatever we can to help in the healing process.
This is astoundingly a lie. It doesn't get any worse than this. You have to listen to it one more time.
As the bishop of this diocese, I want to assure everyone we're as transparent as possible. We want people to know that this happened. We're going to deal with it, and we're going to reach out to Mr. Tucker, and if there's any other victims out there, and do whatever we can to help in the healing process.
I don't have words to tell you what a lie that is. I think you know. No, Bishop Stika, you are not transparent. You are not letting people know what happened. You are not dealing with it. You are not reaching out to victims, and you are not asking for others to come forward. You have changed your policy because you are now fully responsible. In 2010, the Diocese of Nashville stepped in because of other reasons that I don't want to go into now, but they took over. The money aspect, any other aspect, they were responsible. Not so today. You are responsible, and this is how you deal with it. Intimidation. The diocese illegally seized Jane Doe's records of work records. Now, she is an immigrant woman. She was totally intimidated by the fact that the diocese showed up at work, got these papers. Can you be any more vile to an immigrant than to put their work record out there? This is what they did, and we'll tell you more about that in the next video. But this is blackmail. Most of the time, when you try to seize the records of someone who is an immigrant, an asylum-seeking immigrant, you are trying to intimidate them and blackmail or coerce them in some way. The immigrant population knows this. Do you know what message that sent to all the people who might also be victims of Anthony Punakal? It is a message of intimidation, and it was deliberate, it was purposeful, and it was carried out with malice. There is no two ways about it. This is how they ignore the problem. 2 years, Jane Doe tries to go to church, and there he is, the abuser. 2 years. And they do this so that they can, it's a subtle misinformation to the people. Oh, Father Punakal must be innocent. So what happened? Jane Doe endured horrible, horrible treatment. I'd like to say the people aren't to blame, and partly they're not. But let's face it, when the church misinforms like this, it is nothing short of, just horrible for the victim. This is a betrayal. This is what I'm going to leave you with. A betrayal of everything that the church says they stand for. Why? If it's convenient to them, we are a church of immigrants. If that's what the U.S. Council of Catholic Bishops says, we are a church of immigrants. Only when it's convenient for them, it makes them look good. Otherwise, they will torment you. If you're a courageous woman like Jane Doe pointing out the sexual molestation by a Catholic priest. So there'll be more about this. This is not a perfect video, but this is trying to inform you briefly about what has gone on. And if you can help us, please contact me. I'm going to be standing in front of St. Mary's Church June 15th at 6:30 p.m. during the Hispanic Mass. We will stand a vigil with signs. We will be there to answer questions if anyone has questions. This is the only way I know to call attention right now. And if you have any ability to help to come to Gatlinburg Wednesday evening, I'd love to see you there. I'll be there, and I hope that some people will ask questions and ask why we are trying to start a campaign, Justice for Jane Doe. Please join us in our Justice for Jane Doe campaign. Thank you.